Right, 18 September 2025, and today I want to quickly make an address regarding something that I really never wanted to talk about. So it's been a very long time with me dealing with the courts in Zimbabwe, but I think I need to now go and give a more comprehensive complaint to the Chief Justice, Malaba, regarding what is taking place at the courts in Zimbabwe, particularly the interference in court process by Mnangagwa and state agents, especially in political cases. And I have previously written to or talked to in a public address to the Chief Justice regarding the situation at the courts which is taking place and Mnangagwa's interference and his agents, especially in my projects in Zimbabwe. So over the past few years, starting about 6 years ago, I started to carry out projects in Zimbabwe. And unfortunately, it has been a very difficult process for us. We've had agents interfering in our projects. And this has resulted in most of our projects either stalling or not taking off. The modus operandi that they've been using is when we create a group of Zimbabweans in the diaspora that want to invest in Zimbabwe, they'll put state agents into our group. The state agents will disrupt our work. They will form another group within our group, and then they will take people out of our group. They will take us and make frivolous court cases, sometimes in Zimbabwe, other times outside of Zimbabwe. We've had to suffer massive losses, starting with our first project, which we did in South Africa, where state agents came into the group and went to lawyers in South Africa and demanded refunds. But in this latest project that we did in Zimbabwe, I've suffered massive losses and have spent many days on the road going to Zimbabwe to try and address this matter. So I've decided to deal with it now because obviously, as you are aware, I've declared that I'm going to be a presidential candidate in 2028. And this week, we've had further disruptions in our work. And this also involves the courts. So at a high level, Mnangagwa is sending agents into our group and they are carrying out sabotage against us through the courts, through frivolous court cases, non-existent court cases. And they are taking files out of our court cases. They are filing multiple court cases with different case numbers, and then not putting any actual documents in the papers because their objective is just for us not to be able to do anything. They are working with a law firm called Tamuka Moyo Attorneys. Tamuka Moyo Attorneys are involved in this, and I have previously reported them to the Law Society of Zimbabwe. If you go to Gambakwe, you are going to see the actual report that I have made to the Law Society of Zimbabwe. And the Law Society of Zimbabwe has been unable to respond because they are afraid, because this is a political case in which Mnangagwa is involved. The people involved in this case are purely working for Mnangagwa, the state agents, and particularly Oscar Tapera and Gabriel Ziki have been working against the whole process that we've been doing, going to the courts and filing frivolous cases under many different court case numbers. And when we go to the court, we try to find out what is the court case, what is happening. And in all cases, there is no document that has been filed. It is pure sabotage. And as I'm saying, if you go to our website, which is Gambakwe, you will see that yesterday, They have once again gone to the court, and in this particular case, they are filing under non-existent court cases or court case numbers. And they do this without informing us. So we never know that they've filed any papers. Our lawyers have written them last week to inform them that there's no court case on the files. And they have not responded. Instead, they've gone straight to the court while we're waiting for a response. This has been the pattern being used in the courts by Mnangagwa against me as sabotage. And using these people that are clearly state agents and the law firm Tamuka Moyo. Here, you can see this law firm here called Tamuka Moyo Attorneys. They are doing the work of Mnangagwa. And the Law Society, after my report, which is very detailed, with all the case numbers, the fake case numbers, which I have presented here, you will see that on the 17th of June, 2024, we filed a case, or we filed a complaint against Tamuka Moyo for unprofessional behavior, backdating court cases, going to court without advising us, and adding new applicants without carrying out any process on any court process. And all this is being made possible because the people within the court are compromised. If you want to see that these people are compromised, on the 26th of June, they wrote to Tamuka Moyo Attorneys here and advised them that there are no files, no papers in the actual case. There's nothing. So they have not filed the case for the past 3 years. And in all those 3 years, our project has stalled. We cannot do any work because they claim to be in court, but they actually don't file any papers. And they keep filing under different numbers. And the courts allow it because they are corrupt and they are captured. So particularly the registrar at the High Court of Zimbabwe is very corrupt. And I want to show you the letter from yesterday. On the 15th, we wrote to Tamuka Moyo advising him once again that there is no file or any paper in the court papers, which is stopping us from doing our work. So they must now pay. These people have not paid. So we started the project, they signed contracts, they didn't pay, and they're stopping us from starting. When we want to sell the property and say, let's just dissolve the whole property and go away, they go and stop the people who want to buy from buying. And we are left in a limbo where we have to constantly pay for the property to be maintained. And they don't want us to sell, to get out. They don't want to stop the court process, but there's actually no court process and there's no papers. The courts are very corrupt and they are working together with the agents. They take papers from the documentation. So when we go to the court, we find no paper in the file. But then after a while, we find a judgment has been issued. We don't know when the judgment was issued, how it was issued, and to whom it was issued. In this particular case, the latest case, they filed a new case with a different case number, but they've now gone to the registrar and gotten it reversed. So now we've received this letter from them saying that there's now a new a mistake that has been made. So we're going round and round. And I want to particularly look at who is the person at the registrar's office, at the High Court registrar's office, who is working with these people. So if you go, you see that there's a letter which is written here by Tamuka Moyo, Ruth Manera, and Samson Tizirai. These are the lawyers who own this law firm that is working with Mnangagwa. So let's go to the actual registrar's letter. So they've written a letter here, and my lawyers have yesterday on the 15th written them a letter, but they're writing another letter before the 10 days we gave them to respond is over. They're writing another letter saying they've made a mistake on the court case number. That is because they'd created a fourth court case number, which does not exist. And this is allowed. I don't know how the system at the registrar's office allow them, but they do allow them to create multiple court case numbers to move from the case throughout the court case. So it's taking years in the court. They move from one court case number to another court case number. And the only thing they're doing is to sabotage us from not working. They don't want us to work. So the person who wrote this letter at the registrar's office is Kudzai Muposi. Kudzai Muposi has never talked to me. I do not know how he manages to send these guys the letter when we have linked on eCams. So their system of online filing, we've linked there. We've never received any communication through that system. And to make matters worse, they are changing one court case number and another court case number. And somehow they allow someone to join a court case number that has expired through their own letter. You can see that in the own letter in June. They've told these guys that you have 5 days to file, and they've not filed. And all this is happening when I am every day live here. They see me on a daily basis. They've never talked to me. And the actual people are in a group with me. The actual people that are filing these court papers. And on the 26th of June, they've told them, kindly file your bundle of documents and consolidate your record within 5 days, failure of which the matter would be referred to a judge for case management. Not only that, they have held a conference, a pre-trial conference, without me, without the lawyers that are right there in Harare, without the lawyers that are in Kariba. So what is happening is this is all being controlled from Mnangagwa's office. Mnangagwa is the one responsible for this, and they're compromising the High Court. They're compromising the registrar's office. And it's terrible what they're doing. So I have decided to come directly to the Chief Justice and appeal for an investigation. At the Harare High Court, there is a lot of corruption taking place. At the registrar's office, there's a lot of corruption taking place. And particularly, I've put the case numbers. And also, they must investigate the Law Society of Zimbabwe, because the Law Society of Zimbabwe is taking orders from Mnangagwa's office. We have said this to the Law Society in June 2024 already, that there is something fishy happening with this law firm, and they're being controlled from Mnangagwa's office. We have given them a detailed complaint, which they have not acted upon. That is the reason why I had to come to the Chief Justice. I know he's going to watch this, and he's going to understand what I'm talking about. The use of multiple case numbers on the same case, not notifying the parties in the case, backdating a case, and adding applicants on an existing case when you know very well that there's a process in court. You cannot do that. It's a compromising of the judiciary. Our judiciary is compromised, giving of judgment when the actual person who is supposed to be given the judgment against is not there. And I find myself with the judgment, and I've never been to court. And the person that is giving me a judgment, I've never heard about it. We find that a case now has new applicants. That is crazy. And all this is being done from Mnangagwa's office. Very corrupt, and I'm very disgusted with Mnangagwa. Okay, I think I've covered all this, and I'm sure that the Chief Justice is seeing this for the second time. So let's look at the comments, and then I'm going to be out of here. So I hope that the Law Society of Zimbabwe gets investigated. They're part of the corruption, because we've written this to the Law Society. We've also written to explain to them in detail what is wrong with this particular situation. I don't know how Tamuka Moyo attorneys are allowed to practice when they're doing what they're doing right now. It's disgusting. And then let's look at the comments. If you can win this fight, then no, you can contest to be president. Yes, Koma Ashton, I am so angry. Our country, we have tried so much to do the best things for our country. I'm one of those people that have gathered in total over 2,000 people in the diaspora trying to invest in Zimbabwe. I don't know what Mnangagwa wants. Does Mnangagwa want to be the only person that invests in Zimbabwe? Why interfere with our projects? I have had to fly from here to meet Hubert Angel, to talk to him. I asked for a meeting with Mnangagwa. I flew from here to meet Sean Mnangagwa. And I can produce evidence of all this. I do not know what they want. Wasting our time and causing all this chaos when we try to do the best thing for our country. And these courts, how can we have courts like this? The High Court, the registrar, this corruption. If you can do that to someone like me that you are seeing every day, what about other people? What is happening in the courts? How many people are losing their properties in this way? This is disgusting. They must stop. People in the High Court, people in the registrar's office, Tamuka Moyo Attorneys, Law Society of Zimbabwe are part of the corruption. I have written the Law Society over a year ago with no response. This is bad. I do not understand how the Zimbabwean system works. Are we having lawyers or are we having thieves? So, Law Society, I'm writing them again today before I sleep. And this is all happening right in front of all these people who are supposed to be taking care of justice. Law Society, here is the letter I wrote to the Law Society of Zimbabwe. 17 June 2024. They have a record of what has been happening at the courts. This use of multiple court case numbers. And this is how they manage to get away with a lot. How can a system allow someone to use multiple court case numbers? In the same case, you use this case number, then you delete it and use a new court case number. 3 court case numbers that have been used. And now we have a 4th. They tried to sneak in a new court case number today. And the Law Society is aware. Someone backdates something. So I filed a case today. And then they backdate it to an old date. There is no certificate of service. And you complain to the Law Society and the Law Society does nothing. Who is in charge of the Law Society anyway? Because the corruption in Zimbabwe is caused by the Law Society of Zimbabwe. Those are the people causing the corruption. Mnangagwa would never be able to go and remove a file or papers from a file. We have gone to court for a year and there was no paper in the file. So that means they take papers out and they go with them to Mnangagwa's office. Because who else can take papers from the court and go with them? And when you, as the respondent in a case, you go there are no papers. Then you find out next time they've filed under a different case number. And they've communicated with nobody. They've had the round table with no one. Who do they have the round table with? So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. And let's look at Mnangagwa as a demagogue. I don't even want to, because remember I told you, I've traveled from here. And I wanted to meet Mnangagwa. I went, you saw me sitting at Hubert Angel's office. I asked for a meeting that day. The reason why is because I'm actually one of the people that has gathered so many people who want to invest in Zimbabwe. We have tried things in Zimbabwe in multiple places, at Machekeranwa, at Victoria Falls, at Kariba, in Harare. We went to Garwe. I went to Garwe's office. These guys are a problem. Mnangagwa and his people, they are using the judiciary in the wrong way. And we need this to stop. We cannot continue to have this situation at the courts where there's so much chaos. No one knows where papers are and there's interference. Our people are being put through so much under this system. And this needs to stop. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. And the person you call Gananda is the part of the Gananda period. Yes, but we've told him. So I know that Chief Justice Malaba has seen this. I want this to be sorted, guys. We cannot have this. I have been 4 years in court with people disrupting our projects, putting agents into our projects. Not only this project, we have had agents in our project, state agents, on multiple projects. I've had to pay back 400,000 in South Africa. People disrupting, just coming into the group and disrupting. And now we've got these court cases that are stopping us from working. It's costing me money. It's costing us time. And our country is not developing. What does Mnangagwa want? What is it that Mnangagwa wants people to do? Because we're fed up. Okay. And to make matters worse, they don't pay their rates. Our water. has been disconnected multiple times. And I've had to pay that water bill. Remember, it's a business premises. I've had to pay that water. I have to pay the rates. They don't pay. All they do is to want to disrupt. They are not paying the money that they're supposed to pay for construction. They're not paying for the people who are taking care of the property. All they do is to disrupt. You ask them, what do you want? They don't want to say. And this is happening at the same time in court. They are going there, they just file something and they go away. Mnangagwa auraya vanhu nenzara tatambura mana nemunhu uyu. Tumita say na Mnangagwa, guys, and you know that when I come here, I'm not just talking. We are affected by this person. Even if you try to do something in Zimbabwe, you can't because he's in it. All right, so I'm no Mkoma Phineas. Could you think Chief Justice Malaba won't do anything? Tomorrow, because they've written this letter, they are going to get it. I'm going to go to the Law Society. Tomorrow, Law Society are going to wake up. You are going to respond. The Law Society is the problem in Zimbabwe. They are allowing corruption. Very corrupt people at the Law Society of Zimbabwe. Those are the people causing the corruption. Law Society and the courts, people are marrying each other when they don't stand in the court. The judges in our country, magistrates, high court, so much corruption. How do we stop this? How do we have a country like this where this kind of thing can happen? Especially to someone like me. I sit here every day. Imagine a person with no platform who cannot talk, who can access media, will not access media. I can access Malaba. I can access Mnangagwa. I can fly to Harare to look for Mnangagwa. I've done it before. I can go to Harare to meet Sean Mnangagwa. I've done it before. What about a person with no access to these people? What can that person do? So this must stop immediately. I do not want this interference in my things. And they must fix these courts. Law Society, fix the courts. When you are given a complaint about a lawyer, act on that complaint. Fix our judiciary system. Don't let our courts become such a mess where it's like a kangaroo. It's better to go to the chiefs in a case than to go to these people. The High Court, the Magistrate Court, the Supreme Court, Constitutional Court, it's a mess there. All right. I think I've said enough. Tonight, we're not going to be talking about M31. We just talked about this. And now we're going to be very public about this case. Every next move that happens in this case, I'm going to come here and sit and we'll talk about it. We want to invest in our country, but Mnangagwa is a stumbling block. He is blocking everything. Gabanyari and Mnangagwa. Okay, I think we've covered everything. I'll see you guys in the morning. I'm not in any mood today to be talking about politics. So tomorrow morning we'll be back. And as I said, I'll update you regarding the case every step. So now we're going to go to the Law Society. We need these guys to be stopped from doing what they're doing. We are also going to file a case. I'm going to go to the police and let me see who this guy is at the registrar's office. I know Wakanditaris as Zoro. Wakanditaris I will register as Zoro. You are destroying our courts with your nonsense. Kudzai mposi Zoro. Kudzai mposi. Uri register wichiyo. Chita so. We don't want this man in our country. We're tired of your nonsense. So we don't want this. Guys, we need a different country. We can't have this going on and on in our country. Okay. I think we've covered it. So tomorrow, Mupose, I'm going to open a police case against you. You are corrupt. Okay. I would like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. And a good night to you all.